So let's talk about in terms of becoming like a top 1% male, right? Like just being a well-rounded person. For anyone listening right now who's in their teens, their 20s, their 30s, they want to achieve success, financially, they want to be able to get girls, they want to, build better relationships. What do you recommend?
Right. And the last thing I'll say on that previous point is that I think a lot of guys that are really into a girl and they want it to work out, like in the initial talking stages, approaching, they don't give the girl a chance to invest. So they just keep talking. They're scared of the conversation going silent. So they just keep going. They ask for the Instagram right away. It's a lot more powerful to kind of chat, let it go awkward, and then she'll be like, oh, what about you? So then that's an investment. If she's asking you a question, what about you? Even sometimes like it's more powerful to kind of chill, make it seem like, okay, I'm leaving, I'm leaving the club. If she asks for your Instagram, it's way, way more powerful. So you always want to, if you're creating a connection or meeting someone, you want to give them a chance to invest, and then they're way more down to meet up with you for things to progress than if they made no investment and then you're just delivering yourself to them on a silver platter, boom, 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 boom. They're not going to be as into it.
Yep.
Yeah. So sorry, back to that other question.
Yeah. So back in terms of becoming a top 1% male, right? Like nowadays standards are high, and going back to the principle, 99% of the women want the top 1% of the male. You need to be making good money. You need to be, in shape as well. And you also need good game, right?
Yep.
So,
yeah. And, I believe in doing things concurrent. So some guys are like, yeah, I'm not going to worry about meeting chicks until I achieve all these different things. And then they never feel like they're in a position to meet the girl of their dreams. They always feel like they have more to do. And so that can not necessarily be the healthiest mindset. My belief is that yes, get hyper-focused on improving yourself. So that means getting strong, lean, and fit. In fact, the shoulder-waist ratio is like the strongest sign of physical attraction in men. There's even some research now looking at what gives a woman the best sexual satisfaction in bed. And shoulder broadness and like a more taut waist is linked to sexual satisfaction for women in bed. Crazy enough. Okay. But so get hyper-focused on, getting strong, getting fit, looking better, learn to dress well, learn to be better in conversation, more charismatic, build that confidence. The self is always coming through. So what does that mean? If I'm like having a conversation with a girl and I'm feeling very at ease and I'm feeling just very like comfortable, she's gonna feel comfortable. If you feel very uptight and anxious, she's gonna feel uptight and anxious. So if you can get better in conversation, better asking questions, if you can build your skill set up, become more valuable in the workplace, whether it's building a business, building a career, if you can create a good setup, create little effortless signs of status, like example, if you're gonna go to the club, you do it the right way. You're five guys buying bottles and just, butting up to each other. You learn how to kind of play the game the right way. Those are all kind of the different keys. But yes, build a great body, dress well, learn to communicate a lot better, become more successful, build a strong coalition, great social circle. And those are really the signs. And again, like there's also like ways that guys famoose the goose and pretend to be all those things and are not. If you go to a nightclub, you see it all the time. But yes, become more successful, dress better, become more fit, and learn to communicate better is pretty much the signs. But as long as you're putting in work on these different things, you have to feel confident and you have to feel like a 10 out of 10. As long as you're putting in the steps, getting better, you don't want to tell yourself, oh man, I can't approach that girl. She's not gonna be into me until I have X, Y, and Z. That's a wrong mindset to have. You have to accept the hand you've been dealt with, make it as best as possible, but step and talk to every girl as if you're the freaking man, you're the freaking shit. It is that important. Because if you tell yourself you're not enough now, when you get to that arbitrary goal, you're still gonna be like, well, now I need to be here. And then you're always gonna have that low confidence. And that confidence is what is very attractive to a female. And what is very unattractive, you can actually kill attraction very easily. And the way you can kill attraction very easily is by having insecurities, by feeling insecure. And a lot of men will lose attraction because they have insecurities, okay? And they make it known, and you need to handle those, okay? If you don't have $1 million or you're not a multimillionaire, who cares? Work on yourself, become better, but you still have to feel like, man, I would rather be me with my 20 grand than the guys with like, you have to create that little bit of delusion we talked about earlier. You have to feel that, you know? If you're not 6'2", you have to not give a shit you're not 6'2" and feel like, fuck yeah, you know, I'm 5'10", or whatever it is. You know, you have to just own the hand that you have. And then women will do something when they feel this confidence and they feel like, okay, maybe I'm into this guy. They want to make sure it's real. So they poke you. They poke you and they see if the insecurity comes out. They poke you. And if you have that insecurity and that insecurity comes out, well, guess what? She's going to be like, oh, you know, he wasn't the real deal. He's not for me. And so if you have that, no matter where you are, and sometimes the guys that have the most good looking 6'2", they have insecurity, you know? And so if you can just have complete comfort in oneself, and the power of now, Eckhart Tolle kind of teaches this. If you have complete comfort in oneself, then maybe these other guys have more money, maybe this other guy's taller, maybe they have X, Y, and Z, but she's like, fuck, all these other guys have a bit of insecurity. They're always trying to prove themselves to me, but fucking Will fucking acts like he's the shit. What does he have? And it doesn't matter. They will come up with elaborate stories.
She doesn't know what's in your bank account.
She
doesn't. You know, it's really just you. But
even if she knows you don't even have as much, she'll still be like, "Fuck, this is the one I want."
Yes.
And so you have to have this. Build your offer, become as valuable as possible, but have this element of absolute confidence, absolute comfort in yourself. You're the freaking shit. And then girls often will complain about guys because they're insecure. They're insecure. Maybe a girl dated a guy that had tons of money, and so the new boyfriend, there's no issue, but now he finds out that the last boyfriend had a Lambo, and now he's all insecure about it. Okay, look, I've heard these stories, and I've also heard that certain girls I've dated, when we broke up, they dated someone else, and the fucking insecurity breaks it, okay? Yeah. They've told me, and I'm like, man, these amateurs. If I met a girl, supermodel, whose last boyfriend was a billionaire, what would my strategy be? It'd be very, very simple. I would just be like, fucking, that doesn't matter. Like, you know, I would, because your reality, you're always shaping, like what your frame is always being shaped on those around you and those you spend time with. So if I was dating a girl whose last boyfriend was a billionaire, I would just trivialize that very, very easily. I'd be like, oh, you know, okay, whatever. Like, you know, yeah, I don't think that's that important. I don't think going for a billion really is that important. Like, it's obsessive. You don't need that. You know, and I'd just be like, yeah, I like to have a great lifestyle, you know? And I would just inform this new reality. It's about being healthy and fit. And I would basically craft my frame about like what I'm offering. And then she would fall into that frame and it wouldn't be cool. But if I did the opposite, I said, oh man, he had $1 billion. Fuck, oh, no way. That's crazy. And this is what fucking most guys do.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of make her be like, oh, maybe the last boyfriend was higher status. You are informing people's reality with your frame constantly. You have to be very selective of that. And so I'd be very, very strategic. And so you can tell a story 10 different ways. So I can, just like in the courtroom, you can deliver information a certain way. You can make things look 10 different ways. So you could create a story about why this person's value is higher than this person. Now you're not articulating the story, you're just feeling it and living by it and not having that insecurity, having complete comfort in oneself. And that's it.
Frame, mindset, control.
Yeah. So if you have a girl that's really into you, you don't want to have your frame be like, oh man, the other guy she dated had so much money, that's crazy, or he had a Lambo, or he had this, or he was, absolutely. But then also you can't be hating on it and look jealous and you look jealous and insecure. You just have to be like, oh cool, like, just be nonchalant. Oh cool, yeah, I don't really think that cares, but oh cool.
You can't be reactive, cool. Man. These girls are always testing you. They're always testing you.
Like, yeah, like, I mean, like if I have like freaking some girl, I spend a lot of time in Toronto, so I meet girls that, hang out with Drake and shit. And like, if they ever tell that to me, I'm like, oh, cool. Everyone hangs with him. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, you and everyone else. Like, big deal. Like,
yeah, I had a few girls go to his party last week.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, I'm like, cool. But like, if you're like, oh, that's crazy, boom, values down. Yes. So you just kind of be like, cool. Oh, cool. And then that's it.
They're testing you, man.
Yeah. I don't care.
Girls are so smart.
Any beautiful, stunning 20-year-old girl could hang out with any celebrity at the highest echelon. It's not that hard, okay? It's not that hard. I don't care, okay?
Dude, when it comes to dating, I honestly believe girls are smarter than men because they have so much experience from inbound, right? As a guy, you have to pursue the girl. So she has all these experiences that you don't have because you would already need to be basically born out of the womb at a high value guy. Right? Versus if you're, a beautiful woman, you get all of that. So what happens? You get a lot of experience. You understand how to play a game. They're also pre-wired to honestly play the game better than us in terms of dating. And I see it all the time. Like I have very smart friends, successful in business, doesn't matter because the girl will test them. The girl will create her frame, her reality onto the man, and then the man conforms. And eventually what happens is if you conform as a male, this alpha status you had going into the relationship, you end up becoming so beta because of her frame on yours. Over time, you're deteriorating. And next thing you know, she dumps you. She's on to that next guy.
Yeah, and there's certain ways to kind of maintain the correct frame with a girl if she is kind of like overstepping and doing certain things to kind of take like too much control, X, Y, and Z. The coolest way to just be confident, be comfortable. And if she's kind of being a bit rude, a bit mean, the best way to diffuse it is just with humor, you know? Well, you know, like if you can just get them laughing and realize they overstepped, then they'll fall into their frame effortlessly. If you can do it with laughter, it's sort of the kind of the best way to do. Not be like aggressive. Hey, don't talk to me like that. You know, just you know. So it does that. Like there's a certain way to do it. But there's a few different tools you have in your bucket to kind of regain frame. Yeah, you can kind of make a joke, kind of making it clear, like hey, hey. And and then one, you can just communicate like matter of factly, hey, be very clear with communication. Hey, no, I don't appreciate you talking to me like that. And then like C, you just kind of pull back your attention. I mean, in a relationship, like one of the things you have to understand is that your attention is what forms what works and what doesn't. And so if your girl is treating you badly and you're continuing to shower her with attention and she's talking mean to you, and you tell her, hey, I don't, but you just continue giving her all this attention. It's not as powerful as being, hey, I don't appreciate you talking to me that, and then just pull back, and this works both ways, men and women. And so you have to actually use your attention correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, the best way to do it is if you can do it with humor and then make them kind of laugh while realizing like, hey, easy there is the best way to do it for sure.
Yep.